All right, welcome to the Johnny Moe Media Presents Straight Talk Podcast. I am Johnny Moe, retired Air Force C-130 flight engineer, 23 years in the service, 12 years sober, 4 years suicide survivor, son, husband, father, brother, uncle, dickhead, asshole, whatever else you want to say. I'm just looking to raise awareness of PTSD, anxiety, suicide struggles, and promote the small local businesses owned by veterans around me here. And today's guest is going to be no different. Josh was Air Force, right?
Army and Air Force.
Army and Air Force. That's right. Josh was Army and Air Force, and met him a couple months ago at a Save 22 fundraiser at his business. We kind of hit it off. He's an incredibly smart individual, which helps me out because then I feel dumber. But no, I got a guy that I can go to and ask questions of, and he can point me in the right direction. And if he doesn't know, I'm sure he knows somebody who does. So without further babbling from me, Josh, welcome this morning. I appreciate you doing this, buddy.
Thank you, John. Thank you. Thanks for doing this for us too.
No problem. You guys were a big help for that Save 22 fundraiser, man. I don't remember how much we took in, but it was, I think it was.
I know last count I saw was, as I say, last count I saw, we were at least at 5,000, but yeah, it was up there. So
it was up there. So we did very well. So we thank you very much. Yeah. And, you guys and Bunker Hill Barbecue was really awesome. They provided some grub for us. Hogs Helping Heroes came out. They came down. AmVets out of Salem came up. Had a couple anonymous donors. They don't wish to broadcast themselves just yet. So,
yep.
Yeah, man, it was a great little deal. So, hey, you're from here, right? You're from Ohio?
Born and raised in Uhrichsville, Ohio. Yep.
Uhrichsville, 740 area code. Right. Cody Garbrandt's hometown.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Right.
Actually, we went to school with the kid.
Yeah.
So he was a little bit behind me, but yeah.
Tiffany went to school with his brother, Zach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or knows Zach, hung out with Zach, something like that. But anyway, say no more about why you had to join the military. There's not a whole lot there in Uhrichsville except the water park.
That wasn't there whenever I was originally there. They built that, there used to be a swimming pool there
right.
that they closed down, and the city's like, well, what do we do with this now? And they built the water park because both Denison swimming pool and Uhrichsville swimming pool both closed down. So,
well, they were really smart with that water park because I'll tell you what, they stay busy during the summer months, no doubt. All right,
except for this past year.
Except this past year, yeah. Well, we're not going to get political on this one, okay? So tell me what you did in the Army then. Where did you go? When did you join?
Enlisted in the Army. Actually, I was a late bloomer when I enlisted. I didn't enlist until I was 24, but signed up as a 25 Bravo information technology specialist, basically a computer nerd. Thing is I had been in computers my entire career up until I enlisted at 24. So, I've already got experience in it. So went in there, did my thing. Got sent down to Caribbean, down in Dominican Republic and whatnot, doing basically setting up communications for Guard and all that stuff to come down and rebuild roads, bridges, schools, and all that. So never actually got physically deployed to, Afghanistan or Iraq or anything. All mine was just TDY stuff.
Oh, rough life down in the Caribbean.
Right?
Quit your bitching.
Spent 6 months down on the islands and then go back home, then go back. Yeah, no problems there at all.
No, none whatsoever. Jealousy, animosity, nothing.
No big deal. Nope. Spending the hurricane seasons down in the Caribbean, no big deal there. But no,
was how long did you do in the Army then?
I was 3 years in the Army, actually, until the point to where lugging all that equipment around back and forth basically put a toll on my back to the point to where the Army says, okay, you're too broken to continue. We're going to get rid of you. And actually, long story behind that, but I was actually trying to PCS to a non-deployable unit because of my back issues. Filed the paperwork. It went up the chain of command. For some odd reason, got up into higher up hands, and the brigade commander actually got a hold of it and says, shows that you're non-deployable. Well, yes, sir. He goes, you're non-deployable. You don't deserve to be in my Army. I'm starting a med board on you now.
You know,
And,
I remember, man, when was that? When was that? 8, 9, 10 area?
10.
I
Yep.
remember them doing a serious push for if you weren't deployable, you were out. And if the command took it seriously, they would push and you were out. If they didn't think
in
you
a
could
matter of
contribute, you were
weeks,
gone.
I was
Yeah.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember
Like,
that.
I had letters of recommendation from, officers, warrant officers, everybody, and yeah, nothing I could do would keep me in. I was trying to PCS to a non-deployable unit, the South NOC that does exactly what I do, internet security, IT security, and they nothing. So I 3 years in, I was done, got medicaled out, and then within a few months of being out of the Army, I went ahead and started contracting for the Air Force. So went up to Thule, Greenland, 750 miles above the Arctic Circle, baby. So I go from Caribbean to North Pole.
Sup.
And yeah. So yeah, it was quite a bit of a change. And obviously it's a unaccompanied base with, top secret security clearance and all that fun jazz. So
it's a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I've got now wife and 6 kids, but at the time when I started up in Greenland, I had 4 kids. And yeah, being up there away from the wife and family and everything, 3 years later, wife and I decided, nope, we're done with this. It's time to come home and be with the family. So came home in 2013, have been here ever since. And yeah, that's the enlistment life, I guess.
Yeah, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. You said you hurt your back lugging all that equipment around. What was it? A blown disc, a torn?
So it's a combination. It's degenerative arthritis of the lumbar spine, degenerative disc disease, mild scoliosis, disc bulging, disc narrowing, fused vertebrae. So I'm about 3 inches shorter than what I was when I enlisted.
Wow.
And yet the VA is like, we have your paperwork here. It says you were medically discharged for degenerative disc disease, but we don't see any proof of that. But we do see proof of degenerative arthritis. So we'll give you the 10% on the arthritis, but you're going to have to pay back your severance pay from your degenerative disc disease discharge. Right? So it took me, it wasn't until this time last year till I started receiving my disability from the VA. They made me pay back because I got 10% discharge from the Army for one issue. VA says that I don't have record. They don't see evidence of that issue, but they do see evidence of one of the other issues in my paperwork. So they're like,
have you fought this?
Yes, I've been fighting it.
I had no idea the VA was allowed to say that what you got kicked out for didn't happen. So we want your money back. Is that?
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
That's like for real.
Yes. 110% for real.
So if there's anybody out there listening, Donnie with the VA, my buddy, my brother, bro, you got to give me a call because this doesn't make any sense. The VA said what you were kicked out for, you don't have.
Yes. But they'll give me disability based off of another issue I have in my medical. Yeah.
So you don't have a medical retirement from the Army then?
Nope.
This can't be right. Sherrod Brown, Rob Portman, Bob Gibbs. Come on, guys. Is this fucking legitimate?
This is, like I said, this has been, I got out in 2010. This is 2021. And I just started getting my disability payments from the VA in 2020. And it's still only at 10%. my records, yeah, I was only in for just shy of 3 years. I get it. It's not that, okay, I
Right,
didn't
right.
deploy, all this fun jazz. I'm not the most hoorah soldier out there, but I
Most
enlisted with
computer
a
nerds
clean
I
bill of
know that
health.
were in the military aren't the most hoorah soldiers.
Well, yeah,
Hacker excluded.
well, yeah. No, I come from a whole, my dad was
Right.
11 Bravo, his father was Navy CB. Yeah, I come from a history. It's who I am, it's how I was raised.
Right.
But yeah, it was, 3 years in, and they decided that they didn't want me anymore. So yeah, and like I said, the VA has been fighting me. I've actually have on top of what I listed earlier, there's obviously the tinnitus. There is the sleep apnea. There is the anxiety, depression, and then Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis, all that stuff that is all in my records, but yet I'm only getting 10% for the one disability that the VA agrees on.
Donnie, you got to give me a call, brother, because Josh has some issues, and we got to get this cleared up. This can't be right. There's no way that this is right.
So yeah, it was, we make all these changes to the VA and how we're processing everything. And, it was, okay, great. I just started a new job and they're making all these changes to the VA. I get my letter in the mail saying, hey, we have an appointment for you. I don't remember which one. We'll say tinnitus. For your review for tinnitus, can you show up tomorrow at, 0800? Yeah. I'm like,
Right.
wait a minute, what? No, I can't. No. So yeah, that's basically, by me not showing up to the appointments, is me forfeiting my chance to even have a review on that now.
So you're gonna have to refile and restart.
Yep.
Oh, so what the hell's taking so long? Why are you dragging your feet?
Busy with the small business, trying to maintain it through COVID, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I work full time. Like I said, wife and 6 kids, plus trying to maintain a business it takes a lot out of me. And
Right.
yeah, not counting all the rest of the, mental health issues and everything else I got going on. So
Right.
yeah.
Well, the good news is that Save 22, I see you wearing the hat, and I appreciate that. Thank you
Definitely.
very much. You guys always have that up down there.
Yep.
The good news is we have a ton of resources that can help you out, and we can do a lot of our stuff either through the phone with you or via email. So there's not a lot that you have to be concerned with. We'll help you out. I mean, you have to go to the appointment.
Yes, I understand that.
Excuse me. As Albert says,
Yep.
I'll give you all the tools. I'll hold your hand. I'll even drive you over there, but you got to walk in, man.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
No, I understand that completely. Yeah.
You and I share a little bit in that. I fought when I retired in 2015. I applied for more just before I retired. I'm like, all right, look, my back they finally admitted I had broken my back. They finally admitted there was a ruptured disc, there was nerve damage, there was all that other good stuff. So I had to have injections, I had to have testings, I had to have all this other stuff, and I had it all done civilian wise. I was not going to let the military mess with my back. They screwed me up long enough.
Yep.
And if you're a civilian listening, as a military member, I don't know myself personally, I don't know any of us that would change what we did or went through.
No, never.
But we are allowed to bitch and complain because we feel that it's our right.
Well, yeah.
So I will bitch and complain about socialized healthcare until the day I die.
Now, one thing I will say about that, though, is civilian side healthcare is a hell of a lot better than the military side healthcare ever was.
It is. And I don't know why. Well, I do know why, and I both know why, is that they can't be sued
right
while they're in. And unless they honestly care about taking care of you, you're not going to get the best treatment. So
no, that's, bottle of water and ibuprofen and go away.
Right. Drink more water, change your socks, and take, 3,000 milligrams of Motrin a day or whatever they were giving me back then. When I did finally apply and I was rated within 90 days of application. A year later, I get $000 in my compensation and pen benefit. So I call and I'm like, what's this all about? They're like, well, we sent you a letter. I'm like, listen, your letters are written so a sixth grader can't even understand them.
Right?
You know, I can't understand them.
I got
And
to
I
take it
got
to my
3
attorney
fucking
to
degrees.
understand it.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Well, you should have called. Well, I did call and nobody knows. Here, if you use the wrong word, they send you down a fucking rabbit hole and
Oh, yeah.
you may never come out.
Yep.
Well, the short story is you and I both know that if you're a reservist or a guardsman and you're receiving VA compensation, you cannot receive concurrent payment of both.
Right.
Understandable. I got no problem with that. While I was I was at 30% or 20, I don't remember, 20 or 30 for the busted up shoulder and migraine headaches. I think the migraines ended up being from the
Back
lighting that we
issues.
use, probably lighting in the back and all that other good stuff. But I was activated in 2003 and I called them and I said, hey, you know, I've been called back to active duty. We need to cancel my benefits or put my benefits on hold. And they said, sure, no problem. And boom, within 5 seconds, you know, a keystroke and boom, and they're shut off.
Saving money they're okay with.
Right. So when I got off of that activation in 2005, I called them up and I said, hey, start my benefits again. And they said, no, you need to come in and do a whole nother comp and penny vow. I'm like, no, I'm not going through that all again. I already went through everything. I'm not claiming anything new. I just want to turn the old stuff back on. Well, that led to a bunch of phone calls, a bunch of fighting, a bunch of pissed offness. And I finally just ended up calling Congressman Bob Ney.
Uh-huh.
And if you remember Bob, he ended up with trafficking out of Youngstown and they both served some time. And
yep.
The reason that happened, in my honest belief, is that they didn't take shit off of anybody and they got stuff done outside the proper channels that take, you know, years to accomplish. They can accomplish in hours.
Yeah.
And I believe that that's why they were removed from office, but that's a political thing and we're not going to talk about that. So I call Bob's office and he gets me in touch with their veteran guy. Guy calls me up. I tell him the story. I signed the release of information and all that stuff. And within 2 weeks, I had my comp and pen turned back on with no more deal or whatever. Well, I made sure to follow the rules. And every year I would fill out the paperwork every whatever it came, March or whatever it came. And, you know, you did 64 days of duty. You did 104 days of duty, whatever, sign it, return it, all this good stuff. And nothing ever happened. They never docked my benefits. They never did anything. I started talking to guys out at the air base and they're like, yeah, they dock mine every August and September, every year since I claimed whatever. And I'm like, oh, cool. Hey, has yours been done? No, they haven't docked anything. Well, what's your rating? 10%. What's your rating? 10%. So I thought maybe it was just a money thing. If it's below a certain amount, they're not going to mess with it. Right. Well, lo and behold, I retired in September of 2015. In September of 2016, my benefit was $0, and they said I owed $24,000. And so, you know, that turned into a huge fight. I've gone all the way to, I think, a congressional review is like up there. I don't remember. I don't remember what I actually did, but I ended up saying, all right, fine. You guys can go all the way back. You know, you can go back 10 years of your mistakes, but I can prove to you that I did my stuff right, yet you're still going to punish me. So I've been in Sherrod Brown's office. I've been face-to-face with him, Bob Gibbs. You know, we're trying to get some legislation out there to stop the VA from being able to
be the VA,
essentially. I mean, hell, even credit reporting only goes back 7 years.
Yep.
You know, so why can the VA go back 10 or more and then punish the veteran for their own mistake?
Yeah.
You know, so that's where my problem came in. And James Powers and I have sat and talked for hours over this. James is out of Massillon. He had a similar incident as myself when he got out of the Army. I got to get him on to tell his story because his is really interesting. He drove all night over to the Capitol and beat on Rob Portman's door until he answered. And then got escorted out by Capitol Police. But anyway, we end up having, you know, we're in conversation with Sherrod Brown and his team for this bill. And, you know, for the past 4 years, it's been It's been line item. They throw a line in on this bill. They throw a line in on that bill. They can't get the whole bill to come through. And it's very, very frustrating the amount of time it takes to do this. But now they have limited the look back time for VA to 5 years.
Oh.
They are also looking at limiting, how do I word this? Limiting the amount of a veteran's compensation that the VA can take to 25% at a time.
Oh, wow. So
right. So they cannot take an entire benefit, 25%, no matter how long it takes them to recoup it. Okay. They also have to do an investigation, and that investigation will determine whether it was the VA's fault or the veteran's fault. If it's the VA's fault, the case is dropped.
Yeah.
They don't know that money back. I had a gentleman contact me a couple years ago, and he said, exactly what happened to you happened to my 93-year-old blind diabetic mother. I said, what? Are you kidding me? He said, no, my father passed away. She retains his benefit at a certain percentage, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Well, she's blind and diabetic. Okay. So how's she going to read a fucking letter? Right.
Right.
So they take her entire benefit. This is all this woman lives on.
Yeah.
Right. And they just take the whole fucking thing. They don't care. It's some bean counter sitting in a windowless office looking at a computer saying, hey, there was a mistake. I got to take this money. No, jackass, look and see if it was your own mistake. If it was your own mistake, I guarantee you a 93-year-old woman didn't defraud you on purpose.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. If it was your mistake, own it, eat it, move on.
They can't be held at fault.
It's been a huge fight. So if you're out there and you're listening and this kind of shit has happened to you, get a hold of us because we want to hear about it. I have a direct contact in Sherrod Brown's office, and she wants to hear about this stuff. She doesn't give you the lip service like a regular politician does. She actually follows up. She makes a phone call. She has my personal number. I have hers. We talk about these things. She does care, and she is doing her best to ensure that veterans get treated fairly. It is just a long political process.
And we need more people like that.
Yes, absolutely. Definitely. So now that we've gone off on a small tangent there for a little bit.
Squirrel.
So you got out in 10, you were done in 10?
Out of the Army in 10 and then the Air Force in 13.
13. So as a contractor in the Air Force.
Yeah.
Okay. And your back injuries and everything, but you are working full time. You are taking. So tell me, you and I talked briefly. Tell me about your darkest moment or moments. Those were pretty rough times. And when did they happen?
There's some dark stuff. And actually it actually started before I even enlisted, to be honest with you. And that was part of my reasoning for enlisting, is I needed to hit that reset button on life. I had just recently got divorced from my ex-wife with my, at the time, toddler son. He, 1-year-old son and everything. And we went through found out she was sleeping with another man, so on and so forth. But went through the divorce, enlisted, kind of just left everything behind and tried to start over. And it successfully started over 3 years in, right as I was getting ready to go through the medical and everything, met a girl. She had recently gone through her divorce, 2 kids herself. We got together, and we now have 3 kids together ourselves. But it's, there's something to be said for friendship in a relationship. So like if you, I don't know how to explain it, but if you're in a relationship with somebody and you don't have that connection there, it always puts you down. That's how I was up until I met my wife now.
You start believing it. You start, oh yeah, absolutely.
So we get together, and things change. But like I said, whenever I got out of the Army, I ended up turning around and being sent to Greenland. I was up there for 2 months at a time, back in the States for a month, back up there for 2 months at a time, back in the States for a month. Those 2 months, I'm like, first off, you're in Greenland in the summertime, it's daylight, like high noon for 24 hours a day for 3 months straight.
Yeah.
You hit wintertime, it's pitch black for 3 months straight. It is no joke. It's not like, oh, okay, I have some street light or whatever. No, it is pitch black. Wintertime, it gets down to like negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Right.
So, but, I had, a bunch of Air Force security forces guys were up there just because it is an Air Force base. So they have a few guys up there and whatnot, Air Force communications guys and stuff. But they had a lot of, for some reason, the security forces guys got sent up there a lot while they were younger. So the 18, 19-year-old kids get sent up there quite often. And, they can't handle the darkness and being away and everything. And it no matter who you are, it has an effect on you.
Absolutely.
Like
it's a
said,
psychological thing, man. Physiological thing too, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But, being away from my wife for, wife and kids for 2 months at a time, it started to take its toll on me as well, to the point where I would come home for that 1 month. My wife's like, what's wrong with you? You're not the guy I met,
Right.
And it's something that I never really realized it myself. I was just going through it and everything, and then so I ended up coming back from Greenland, and it got really bad when I got back. I'm here now, and now I'm sitting with the wife and kids. Now, by this time, by the time I got back from Greenland, I had 6 kids. We had 2 kids while I was up there, which I did not miss any of the births, thankfully, but I missed all the growing up and everything. And, the youngest is kind of looking at me like,
who are you?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
so you had some adjustment issues coming back and I don't mean coming back, but when you were done, because you did that for 3 years, and now all of a sudden you're home all the time,
Yeah, it's not vacation anymore.
Right. If you've heard me talk about it, my adjustment was, how do I be a dad? How do I be a husband? What am I supposed to be doing here?
Yep.
Where is my higher calling? Why am I not on the go? I don't have a go bag anymore. I'm not flying twice a week. I'm not taking a 3-day trip once a month, whatever it was. The adjustment was very, very hard.
Yeah. You go from having a built schedule, somebody telling you what to do every minute, every day, and so on. And now you're back to, lack of better terms, of civilian life, where it's up to you.
You're responsible for yourself, and you don't know how to do it.
Exactly. Yes. Responsible for yourself, and now responsible for an entire family too, that my wife's been basically taken care of for the past how many years now.
Right.
So, and now I get thrown into the mix, and I'm around this every day, and it's, the anxiety starts picking up, and
and the anxiety is not that you're there. The anxiety is not knowing what you need to do,
not knowing where your place is at.
Correct.
Correct. That's where I was at. I'm like, okay, so I went and actually went to the VA. Hey, this is what's going on. Need some help, whatever. So I get sat in this little 10 by 10 office with this lady that started out like 3 times a week going and seeing this lady, to the point it got down to like once a month, and just talking. And she's like, well, at the end of it, she's like, yeah, your home life and your work life cause you a lot of stress and anxiety. She goes, I can't change that. She goes, the only person that can change that is you. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to change my home life? How am I supposed to change my work life? I can't just up and leave my house and wife and kids. I can't leave my family behind. I can't just quit my job and, go out and start flipping burgers or something and try to maintain a household of 8.
She basically told you exactly the same thing that she told me, because you went to Canton, right?
Actually, no, New Philly.
Okay. So the Canton,
but she's the same. She works at both.
She told me, based on what you've told me, there's nothing I can do for you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So your brain starts going, well, shit, I'm fucked.
Yep, exactly. And it puts you even in a dark spot.
All you want to do is learn. You want somebody to tell you how to do this kind of stuff. And when they tell you that your life is the problem, the way you live your life is the problem,
Yep.
and there's nothing they can do for you, you get pretty fucking dark.
Yes, and that
So let's
was
hold on
like
to that.
the deepest,
Let's hold-
darkest moment.
Absolutely. So let's hold on to that for a minute, because I find it interesting that you and I had the same experiences with the VA. And I want to get into that, but I also want to take a quick 10-minute break. I want to grab a little bit more coffee. I've got your coffee upstairs already brewed that you use. So I'm going to go get me a cup of that. And that is Iron Bean Coffee.
Yep.
Out of Akron, Ohio.
Toledo. Those guys are out of
Toledo.
Toledo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Iron Bean out of Toledo.
Yep.
That's probably why they didn't respond to me, because I fucked up when I sent them the email.
No, it's Fred and Chanel. Fred is a Marine veteran, and his wife. They run that out of Toledo. It's just them. They have a couple part-time people, but they're so personal with every order. They include a written thank you note, handwritten thank you note, personalized with every order. They'll throw in, extras like some kind of test coffee that they're roasting or whatever. The couple, they're just great,
Yes.
But yeah, we can get into that more and whatever.
We will. I just wanted to plug them real quick.
Yep,
and,
definitely.
Let's go grab a quick coffee and a physiological break, and we'll be right back and talk about how the VA couldn't help either one of us.
Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Be right back. All right. Hey, have you guys heard about Live Synthetic Oils on Facebook? That's Ian Colmer. He's a buddy of mine, also known as Decal. He's an independent dealer of AMSOIL products, and AMSOIL is a synthetic oil you use in all your engines. They even have rifle cleaning supplies. Good Lord, I'm really screwing this up today. Anyway, if you find Live Synthetic Oils on Facebook and use code, I'm going to go with code coffee today. What do you think, Josh?
Nice,
Coffee's probably
like
a good
it.
code. If you use code coffee on your Facebook order through Live Synthetic Oils, you will get a 10% discount on your order. So find Live Synthetic Oils on Facebook and use code coffee for 10% off your order. All right. So my coffee cup's full. Your coffee cup's obviously full because you're at the shop. Let's talk about that wonderful VA experience that you and I both shared, where your psychologist and psychiatrist, who you are supposed to trust and take their advice from, tells you there's nothing I can do for you because you are the problem. So where do you go from there?
From there, I decided, this was the point of no return for me with the VA. Once I basically got told, okay, there's nothing we can do for your mental health. I'm like, if you can't help me with my mental health, how are you supposed to help me with my physical health? And that was to the point to where I pretty much quit going to the VA altogether, and went civilian side of the house. After a few months of my wife, basically me and her yelling at each other face to face, arguing and everything else, it's like, look, something's not right in my head. I need to get back to who I was. I actually started seeing a civilian doctor for mental health issues. And it actually got to the point to where it was the physical health as well, gotten involved in that and everything. And throughout that process is where I found mindfulness. So whether it be meditation or however you want to think of it, buddy of mine introduced me to a method, isolation tank, flotation tank therapy.
So self-awareness of yourself and your reaction to certain situations.
Right. And just, okay, I can feel it oncoming. Okay, take a break, step back, realize that I'm causing my own issues at this point in time.
Right.
It's all in my head. Everybody that's going through, oh, it's just in your head, you'll get over it. Well, yes and no.
It's in my head. I know, that's the fucking problem.
That's the problem. That's the one thing I can't get away from is my own head.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
Right? So, buddy of mine introduced me to flotation therapy, isolation tanks, sensory deprivation tanks, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it was a form of meditation, and to the point to where it didn't only help me with mental health issues, it also started affecting my physical health as well, to the point to where before with my back issues I could bend over and maybe touch my knees. Floating, after going, floating for an hour in this, 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt dissolved in 100 gallons of water, tank, I can almost touch my toes.
Wow.
It's zero gravity. My back was straightening out, and all the inflammation's going away. I mean, it's 1,000 pounds of Epsom salt, for crying out loud.
Right.
Pro sports players soak their joints in that stuff to help with inflammation and everything. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. And yeah, it's been doing wonders for me, to the point to where I went and bought my own.
I was going to say, you've actually went and bought one, right? You have one there at Major Joe's.
Yeah. So the one that I bought is actually the one that I first floated in as well. So I went back to the guy because he had to close his business down. He moved back. It was down in Columbus. He was moved back up here in the Amish country and everything, whatnot. But I actually bought that exact same tank off of him. So I now own the tank that I first floated in, to the point to where, Major Joe's, the coffee shop itself, is kind of an intro into me becoming a veteranpreneur, so to speak, veteranpreneur.
I think you just created a new word, man.
I've seen it around a little bit, but yeah.
Right. I like it.
But ultimately the end goal is to have a wellness center, basically a mental health, physical health wellness center. So, yoga, all that fun jazz.
Sure.
So just basically a place to come and unwind. And one, it's physical health as well in the mental health, but mental health is a big thing for me. And it's kind of why I did the Major Joe's thing the way we did, in a sense that everything that we're doing here benefits other veteran-owned businesses. So all the coffee that we buy comes from other veteran-owned businesses as well. I have 4 different roasters, 2 of which are in North Canton, a half hour away from us, one in Toledo that we just talked about, Iron Bean, and then I've got one down in Chesapeake, Virginia. But they're all owned by other veterans,
Right.
And it's one of those that, everybody, it's vets helping vets. Obviously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, it's one of those things that I know personally that, any vet that comes in here into my shop, you're getting coffee on the house. It's just part of my, hey, thanks. I've got screens up on the wall. The camera, I can't see them, but I've got screens up there that rotate with a few lost friends of mine and whatnot. And then just some pictures of enlisted people that are locals and everything else. And it's everything I do here is just trying to help give back to those that have helped me. And that's why, when we decided to do the fundraiser for Save 22, Heather from Bunker Hill came to me and said, hey, I want to do another fundraiser. Who do you want? We want to do it at your place. I'm going to give you the option of who do you want? You guys were the first ones to come to mind. It's like, yes, Save 22 is exactly who we're going for. It's exactly the type of event that I want to do. And, with the amount of success that we had in, what was that, November, it was rainy and, cold and whatnot, started talking to everybody, and we're going to do another one. I think it was the 29th or something like that, or 22nd or somewhere in there in May.
Right.
So that late May. So hopefully we can, do another really good donation for you guys.
May's going to be big because that's our hike month.
Yep.
The first weekend in May in Ohio has been designated as Veteran Suicide Awareness Day. It is Veteran Suicide Awareness Month, I believe.
Yeah.
And May's weekend from Ohio House Bill 202, I think it was called.
I think
Jason's got all that info.
Yeah.
Hacker's got all that info. And I apologize. I'm not real clear this morning. It was a rough night for me last night. But May's going to be a good month. We're looking at that. I think the Save 22 poker run is in June from AMVETS Post 45 in Salem. I've actually been asked to come out and speak to their group at the end of this month
nice.
To give a little bit of a heads up on what Save 22 is and what the AMVETS group is trying to do for us. Your group, we're going to have the truck and the trailer out there. We'll have all of our merchandise. We might even do a live session with the Straight Talk podcast. If you can help me out with that, Mr.
Definitely.
IT guy, and we'll figure out how to post that stuff live and get it out there. We're looking at some live Q&A sessions to bring in people to just kind of raise awareness for the local organizations. And excuse me. And this isn't all just for Save 22. We will have other veterans outreach organizations there as well.
Yep.
Bunker Hill Barbecue is a huge contributor. She was a military brat, was married to military on her first marriage. And she 100% wholeheartedly loves us veterans and will do anything for us, up to and including, donating food and profit and the whole 9 yards. She's incredible. Heather's amazing. So let's talk about this experience you had at home with the anger and the fighting. You kind of touched on it real quick, but my experience was that everything set me off.
Yeah,
Everything.
well, definitely.
It did not matter.
It didn't matter what it was. If you left the bottle of water laying on the counter or something, it's the stupidest little thing.
Right.
And it was everything, man. It didn't matter if it was the kids. It didn't matter if it was my wife. It didn't matter if it was my phone ringing for a job interview or something.
Right.
Everything got to me, and to an extent still kind of does, but I've learned to control it.
Yeah. You've learned a way to handle that situation,
right,
other than anger and
exactly.
and
I'm not, it's my first reaction isn't to yell and scream at the top of my lungs. It isn't
Right.
to,
throw things, get pissed off. Yep.
Right. It took me years to get to the point where I am now. But like I said, the mindfulness has helped. There's a couple good books. Tim Ryan, one of the representatives, whatever, he actually wrote a book on mindfulness. So he's actually trying to get mindfulness training included in military training. So, the whole self-awareness and everything to help deal with the PTSD issues that we all know and love. And
right.
Yeah. It's that instead of waiting until afterward to combat and deal with it, why not help beforehand and teach you the tools to deal with the issues when they are undoubtedly going to come. So I know there has been a big push for that to be included. So there's just a lot of what I had to go through. Like I said, it's all in my own head, but you can't get out of your own head.
You can't. You end up living rent free in your own damn head, and you can't get out of it. And you go to the extremes on everything, and you can't.
Yeah,
one little thing just compounds, and you roll and you roll and you roll, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
And that's, you get into the, okay, well, now I need to numb what's in that head. So, okay,
Right.
great. And then, it turns into alcohol abuse, substance abuse, whatever you want to call it. But there's a fine line between abuse and treatment, and I get, marijuana has been the best tool for a lot of people dealing with PTSD. And but yet federally still not legal, still can't do anything about it. VA, well, if you get hit, you still get, you can still get all your, benefits and everything taken away just because, hey, look, it's still not federally legal. You're not allowed to do it.
So interestingly enough, I was having a conversation with somebody a couple of days ago, and I'm not going to mention it because it'll ruin the podcast. But he was asked by the VA if he would be willing to participate in a medical marijuana study.
Really?
So it's coming. It's coming. It's just going to take it's again, political.
Yeah. No. And yeah, trust me. And it's
government bullshit.
We won't go down that spiral.
Yeah. It's going to take time. It's going to take time, but it is coming. And I have seen in the past few years, articles written and the VA doing studies on medical marijuana use and dosages, tinctures, all that stuff as to how they can treat PTSD, anxiety, depression, those sorts of things. So it's coming. It's just going to take time. Unfortunately for us.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah, hurry up and wait. Get in line, wait.
Yep.
For those of us struggling now, we have to find other methods. So I think there's 36 37 or 39 states that allow medical marijuana use or have decriminalized personal use amounts.
Right.
So that's coming. It's just going to, unfortunately, God, I hate saying it. It's just going to take more time. It's just going to take more time.
Yep.
And until then, you know, we're going to have these problems. We're going to
More
have
red
guys
tape.
using alcohol and opiates and
Or even worse, suicide.
suicide because
yeah.
they can't wait anymore, and you just you have to be willing to change yourself. Now, I know that they all say it's in your head and there's nothing that you can do. No, bullshit. There is something that you can do. You can reach out and have a conversation like you and I are and say, well, I don't have anything in common with that guy. What are we going to talk about? He's 25 years younger than I am. Yeah, maybe, but we've had some of the same experiences. We've shared some of the same trials and tribulations, some of the same triggers, and we can learn from each other as to how we adapt and relate and fix. It's not an overnight thing.
No.
If you're not happy with the way the VA is talking to you or treating you, go find a civilian doctor.
Exactly.
My
other
issue,
options.
Yeah, my issue was on a Thursday afternoon, and she told me, based on what you've told me here today, there's nothing I can do for you. Well, I looked right at her and I said, well, then what the fuck am I doing here? And she couldn't talk. She didn't have anything to say.
Yeah.
So I got up and left. Well, I ran out of meds on Sunday. Tuesday, I'm freaking the fuck out. Apparently the meds that they were giving me were not recommended to stop abruptly.
Yes. And same situation.
Right.
And
it got bad.
10 times intensified.
Oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. Yeah. And luckily, I think because of my AA experience, I think I knew that in my head was not the way I normally think. I had a huge fight with the wife. It's been on the podcast, half a dozen times. But the huge fight, I don't even remember what it's about. I just remember a few things that she said, which was, you're a fucking asshole. No one wants to be around you. Your kids don't want to be around you. And who are you going to call? You don't even have any fucking friends.
Yep.
So down to the bar I go, and I don't drink, and I'm sitting there, shaking, crying, thinking, fuck it, I'll just go drop 50 on the bar. I want a bottle of Jack. I'm going to chug that bottle of Jack, and I'm going to start that pistol, and it'll all be over. Something told me to wait. Just hold on a second, make a phone call. So I make that phone call down to an AA buddy, and I'm like, hey, is that meeting still down at the church tonight? And he said, yep. I said, you going to be there? Yep. I said, fine, I'm coming. So I uncocked the gun and I go down to the meeting, and I sit and I cry for a couple hours, and I come home, still fucked up a little bit, but I get up the next morning and I called the VA and I said, listen, I almost pulled the trigger last night. I'm ready to kill myself. What the fuck is going on? And I got the please hold.
Yeah.
And I'm like, God damn it. Really? Yeah. That's what I get. So, again, put down the weapon. All right. Where are you going to send me? And I don't remember where I went or where they sent me, but I ended up calling my local doc and explaining to the nurse, listen, I need to come in and see somebody. This is the situation. A week ago, my meds ran out. I attempted, I really strongly considered suicide last night, to the point where the gun was uncocked and in my hand, loaded, ready to go, or off safe, cocked and ready to go is what I meant.
Lock, cock, ready to rock.
Lock, cocked and ready to rock. Right. And she said, come on in right now. We'll get you in right now. So I come in and she talks to me for a minute, and she said, listen, I want you to go over and get these at the pharmacy, which is across the street, which are just some, almost like a Valium, just a calm down med. And she goes, I'll give you enough for 2 weeks. This is how I want you to take them. And I want you to call this psychologist up at this office. She has experience with the VA. She was a VA intern for 3 years, where their rotation is only supposed to be 6 months. She decided to stay for 3 years. And I think she can really help you. So I was very lucky in that aspect, where I knew that I was not feeling normal, and I knew I had to find somebody who did.
Yep.
I wasn't afraid of dying. I was afraid of what it would do to my kids. But when you're ready to pull that trigger, you don't think about that.
You only think of how to get rid of that person to think about that.
It was hard. I don't like people saying that I'm strong and everything, for the simple fact that I wasn't. I was ready to go, and I'm I'm ready to just end it. And to have the wherewithal to know that, wait a minute, that is not who I am. I have never thought this way before. This has to be the meds. This has to be the withdrawal.
Yeah.
Let me make a phone call and to move on. And then I got in with Jason the next weekend and we did some riding and we started with Save 22. Save 22 had been around about a year at that time. You know, it's just gotten greater and greater every day so far. Do I still have downtimes? Absolutely. Do I still go a couple 3 days without showering? Look, man, this COVID thing, this quarantine, this working from home, has really got people effed up in their head. No doubt about it. And you have to have human contact, and you have to have that touch, that feel, that emotional presence, that aura of an individual with you to get through some things.
Physical, person to person, not just the social media version that is basically destroyed human interaction. I have.
Oh, it's so fake.
Yeah, keyboard warriors can be whoever they want to be. But, and that's why, we do the fundraisers and stuff, get people together, have the human interaction, talk to somebody, be willing to listen to somebody, talk to you. That's the big thing. Everybody's always, well, yeah, why don't you just talk to somebody about it? Okay, great. Just like I talked to the lady at the VA. Yeah, I talked to her.
Right.
She can't listen to a damn thing.
Right.
Be willing, if somebody's willing to talk to you, be willing to listen to them. That's one of the biggest things that people want. It's not that they want to be able to talk to somebody. They want to talk to somebody who will listen, who will understand, who will help and react. It's their silent cry for help. Help me, please. This is what I'm going through.
Right.
It's
tough. I will tell you again, thank you for your fundraiser. Because of that fundraiser, I met an individual there and spoke with him and his wife. And she talked to me for about an hour about him, which was amazing. There's a lot of spouses that won't be 100% honest about what they see or feel is going on at home. And I shared my number with her and him. And I think it was about a month after that, 3 weeks after that, he called and said, something about you makes me comfortable. And I am in a fucked up spot today, and I don't know why. I was just playing a video game. Now, this guy's 55, 60 years old. He's like, I'm playing a video game online with my kid or my grandkid, whatever it was. And all of a sudden, I start crying. And I couldn't get out of it. And he said, I've been pacing my house for 2 hours, debating on whether I should call you or not. So I sent you the message on Facebook, and you called me within 2 minutes. I said, well, yeah, it didn't sound normal. Your text did not seem normal.
Right.
So I wanted to make sure that you were okay. And when you pick up the phone and I hear you, I can hear in your voice that you are not okay.
Yep.
So tell me what's going on. And he tells me, and I said, okay, let's look at a couple things. What are you wearing right now? He's like, what? I said, what are you wearing? He's like, well, I'm in my robe. I said, dude, it's 2:00 in the afternoon. Why are you in your robe?
Yeah.
Well, I was going to shower, but I decided not to. Oh, okay. Well, what's your house look like? Well, what do you mean? I'm like, well, is it clean? Is it organized? Are the dishes in the sink? Is there dinner from last night still there? Did you clean up from breakfast? Little stuff like that. Yep. Is there, 4, 5, 6 piles of clothes that need to be laundered? I'm trying to get an understanding for what does your home look like? Is it fucking with your head? Is there too much that needs to be done that you don't know where to start and your mind is spinning, your wheels are turning?
Yep.
So is that causing the anxiety? Are your bills paid? Is there money in the bank account? Do you not know where you're going to get the money to fix a flat tire? Things like that. Let me talk to you about your life. You have to be willing and 100% honest, open with your situation at home. Now, this individual ended up telling me, no, man, I clean my house every day. There's not anything, here right now. The dishes are done. Everything's put away. I just started crying. I said, yeah, that is depression.
Yeah.
I said, I've been there.
Yep.
To where a song will kick me off and I'll cry. And I'll know when I'm coming into it because it won't be a 1-a-day thing. It'll be 2, 3, and 4 times a day where I'm starting to squirt tears for no reason.
Just standing there having a conversation with somebody, and it
and something hits me. Bam! I'm leaking awesomeness out my eyeballs. So we talk and we talk and we talk and we dig and we dig and we dig, and finally convinced him. I'm like, listen, when your wife gets home, I want you to get in the car and go down to the local emergency room. And I want you to tell them exactly what you told me. Tell them you're a vet. Tell them you suffer from PTSD and anxiety. You are seeing a head doctor. You do have therapy sessions, but you're not able to get into them for another 3 weeks. This is the worst that you felt. This is what's going on. Can you please help me? And they will help you, but you have to be 100% honest with them.
Yep.
So he did, and he calls me back that night, and he's like, man, they gave me something. I think it was Ativan maybe.
Yeah.
And it pulled the emotions down. It calmed him down. He was able to get some sleep. He got up the next morning, called his head doc, told her what happened. They got him back in. He made some appointments for some alternative treatments.
Yep.
You know, and we are in Ohio, so medical is legal.
Yes.
He made some appointments. He went and got that stuff. And I just talked to him last night, and he's like, man, I am doing good. Like really good.
That's good to hear.
Okay, great. But you have to be honest. You have to be willing to say, all right, well, maybe this thing that I look at every day is causing me a trigger. You know, why can't I get this pile of clothes down to nothing? Why do I keep only doing one? Why can't I finish a load of laundry? Why do I always leave my dishes on the counter? Why do I go 3, 4, 5 days without showering or shaving? You know, those sorts of things. I'm telling you, man, when you go and you take a shower, and especially for me with the bald head and the scruff up face, if I don't shave my head at least every 3 days, I feel like a hippie. And I focus on it. I focus on the fact that my hair is a 64th of an inch long, but I feel it and it gets to me. So that's one of my things. If I don't shower and shave my head or my face or whatever, that can put me in a spiral.
Well, and that's, that goes back to the whole mindfulness and self-awareness issue.
Right.
Self-awareness is not just mental, it's also physical. You have
Absolutely.
to take care of your body physically and mentally, and whether that means it's, get in your shower on a daily basis, getting in the routine of it, that way every night, you get home, you get your shower, or you get it first thing in the morning, whatever, you get in that routine to where you set yourself, it goes back into, we were told, your schedule.
Reset.
Yeah. Here's what you do. Here's everything. Get yourself into that. And then you can actually build some kind of stability for yourself.
Right. Some sort of a routine, some sort of familiarity.
Yes. Yep.
Right. And not to put yourself, not to put yourself into a zone where you're a robot, but just to be able to say, I have 3 things that I have to do today.
Yeah.
Whether I do them at 9 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock at night, I need to have these 3 things done.
Yep.
Period.
That's when you walk out the door, phone, wallet, keys,
Right.
Little joke to Adam Sandler or whoever it was. But, you always have a checklist of everything you do. Okay, great. So you're starting your day. Okay, this is what I need to do to start my day. I've got my 45, I've got my coffee, I'm good, But
I quit carrying a 40 to 45, man. It was like 7.8 pounds. And I'm like, man, this is too heavy. I got to get something else. But
all else fails, I can throw it at somebody,
Oh, the stopping power. Oh, there goes mama right into the shot.
Yep. Yeah, she's ignoring everybody. So
no, that's okay. But that's okay. Hey, again, fantastic conversations. When we started this, I looked like shit, and I told you I look like shit. And now you can see that I'm smiling, you're smiling. Yep. This is the kind of thing that I love to see, that I love when we do reach out and we do make contact with somebody who gets it, who understands it. I think what you're doing down there is, I don't want to say noble. That's not the right word. It is incredibly respectable. And I am very happy to have met you. I can't wait for I can't wait for our next fundraiser, our next meeting. We want to have you out to the hike.
Yep.
We want to bring you out for that. I want to give you an opportunity to plug your cafe, plug your health and wellness. Give me the websites, the Facebook pages, the .coms, the Twitch twats, whatever they are.
Twitch twats.
Yeah. The Tickety Talks. Yeah.
Right. No. So, main thing is majorjoes.com. Everything is Major Joe's. So if it's facebook.com/Major Joe's, twitter.com/Major Joe's, which my social media presence has, yeah, I'm not going to get political in this, but is going to be switching gears quite a bit. But majorjoes.com is always the first stop to find anything about us. We've got all of our gaming stuff set up there. So we do board games, card games, digital games, PC, Xbox, PlayStation here as well. So we have a bunch of local kids that come in and play. And then the wellness center we've got going on as a side gig right now. I'm starting to ramp it up, but it's Universal Focus Center. But I'll have everything on the majorjoes.com site. But on top of the whole Major Joe's thing is, like I was saying earlier, we have all the veteran-owned businesses, including Tom's barbecue sauce I have here now as well. So
Nice.
We bought a bunch of it, so we have it for sale here too. So I'm trying to help, everything else as well.
Right.
So there's Iron Bean Coffee Company. There is M&H Beans out of Canton. There is Cherry Blend. Sorry, I keep thinking Bunker Hill, but Cherry Blend Roasters out of Canton, and then Pale Horse Coffee out of Chesapeake. If anybody wants any of their stuff, I carry everything that they have, and usually cheaper than what they can get it, because I get it at wholesale. So I can usually
there you go.
Yeah,
hey,
I can
not
get
that we're not cutting profits from everybody. Everybody's still making a profit.
Yes, they're making theirs off of me buying it, and so on and so forth. But
right, you're making yours off of them buying it off of you. That's just the way that stuff has to go.
Yeah. So we're here in Dover, Ohio. We're in a medical building, so people will tend to kind of have an issue trying to find us. If you're familiar with Dover at all, Tuscarawas County Fairgrounds, we're right across the street. We're in the medical building behind CVS. So if you're in the area, it's a little difficult, but once you find it, look for the flags. That's what I tell everybody. Just look for the flags. There's American flags, POW flags, all kinds of different stuff. I rotate my flags out often, because being in that breezeway, they get beat up pretty bad.
They do.
So, but yeah, I always got flags going on. So if you can't find me, just look for the flags.
So if you're on YouTube right now, you can see over his left shoulder is Major Joe's Canteen, and the sign. He's got his hours listed up there. He's got the Major Joe. I'm having a hard time seeing it because of the white behind.
Yeah. The old Gadsden flag in the background. Yeah. But yeah, the Major Joe's Canteen, our logo is kind of a military-esque. We got the little coffee cup in the middle of it, but typical hours are 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Saturdays and Sundays are usually kind of whenever we're here. We're usually here by 8 o'clock in the morning, but most, like Saturdays, I might be here till midnight, 3 o'clock in the morning. Depends on how many guys show up for gaming and stuff. So
nice.
Just message us on Facebook or Google. If you go on Google and search for coffee shops near me, we pop up as one of the top results. I have the Google messaging, Facebook messaging, anything that you can think of as far as contact. There's some way of getting a hold of us.
And your email is coffee@majorjoes.com, correct?
Yes.
COFFEE@majorjoes.com.
Yep, which, like I said, that's all listed on the site as well. All the social media links are there. I do all my own web-based development and everything. So if anybody sees something that's off or whatever, feel free to email coffee@Major Joe's as well, and I'll get things fixed and taken care of. But yeah, everything's right there. One-stop shop for everything.
Awesome. Josh, much love to you and the family. Thank you for sharing your story and being open and honest with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. We are going to be in touch. We're going to do awesome things this year.
Yep.
Even with COVID, I wish I had the numbers in front of me, but we haven't completed them up yet. But we did a lot of money last year. Then that money is all local. We do have projects outside of Ohio with Save 22. We do a fishing trip out in Myrtle Beach area, the Carolinas. Yep. We have a fishing trip up on Lake Erie. We do the motorsports outreach with Alliance Racing, Lex June Racing, and NHRA. And Mike Harmon Racing in the Xfinity Series. We are looking to expand that this year. Hopefully that'll kick off. We're looking to get with American Military Family for what's called a vet reset, where we take the families out, or the spouses out, the couple, and try to do a reset with them over a couple of days with therapy and I don't like to say therapy because many of us won't go to therapy, but we get together and within a couple hours we're best friends. That's just
having somebody to talk to.
That's just who we are. Thank you for all that you've done with Save 22 and Bunker Hill
pleasure.
and Iron Bean and M&H and Pale Horse. I'm sure they're very appreciative. I'd love to get those guys to come on and talk too, because they are all veteran owned.
Yes.
They are all online. You can order, they will ship.
Yep.
You can get ground, you can get whole bean, you can get
flavors,
orders,
light roast, dark roast, whatever you want.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, that Iron Bean Coffee Loki blend that we had, man, that was
That's what I serve as our house coffee here. So if you come in and just ask for a regular coffee, that's what's on tap here 24/7. We do not have any coffee sitting brewed, getting cold, getting old or anything. Everything we brew is fresh ground, fresh roasted. We order it. They roast all of our beans to order. So if we get low on something, I place the order. They roast the beans, package them, ship them to us, and then we grind it and brew it right there when you order it. So it's not sitting on the counter, getting charred or anything like that. You don't have any
pre-ground coffee. There's no Folgers. There's no Maxwell House.
Nope.
This is all whole bean coffee ground when you place the order for the coffee.
Yeah. And it's also, I tell everybody, we have veteran owned coffees, and their first question is, do you have that Black Rifle coffee? Well, no, I don't. Well, why not? Because you already know about them. I carry the mom and pop stuff. I carry the low guys that need the sales, that will put that food on their plate for the next day.
Right.
That's the type of stuff that I put back to. That's why we have Tom's, barbecue sauce and stuff. It's not like it's game breaking if they don't make the sales, but every little bit puts that much more back into what they do.
Correct. And that's what I love about the small business, the veteran owned business, the grassroots, the local stuff, the mom and pop things. I talk about the Zoar Market down here in Zoar.
Yeah.
It's owned by my neighbor. He's not a veteran, but if I call that guy and I go, hey, I need you, he's over here. So I'm going to support that guy.
Yep.
Buys
it's
Tom's,
the mindset.
It is. He buys Tom's barbecue sauce and sells Tom's barbecue sauce. When I come to Ron and I say, hey, Ron, man, I got a Save 22 event. Do you want to donate? He's like, yeah, what do you want? I'm like, well, I know what I want. What can you give me? So he makes donations. And, my wife likes to laugh. She's like, you're old. I'm like, why am I old? Because you'll go sit at the coffee shop at the market for 2 hours on a Friday morning, just talking with the other guys that come in. Yeah. Well, those other guys that come in, one of them is an Army vet from the 80s who did not know that he qualified for anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he must have said, to me 4 or 5 times. I'm like, you have hearing loss, don't you? He said, yeah. I said, what'd you do? He said, artillery. I'm like, God damn it. Come here.
Yeah.
Let's talk.
Let's go.
You know, come on, let's talk. I got another guy who's been fighting fighting tinnitus claim for 5 years.
Mine's on year 11. They're still denying my tinnitus. Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Just crazy stuff. So I love doing that. I love talking with the local guys. If I bored the shit out of the listeners, tough shit, man. This is what we are. This is what we're about. It's 2 vets sitting down, telling stories, cracking up, getting chills, squirting some tears. That's what I want this to be.
Yeah.
Just to let people know it's okay to feel the way you feel. Just don't stay there. Just don't stay there.
And that's one of the things is, anybody, obviously reach out to Save 22, reach out to John, reach out to myself, anything, call up the coffee shop. I'm more than happy to sit here and carry on a conversation with anybody that comes in through that door. It's not a problem. Judgment-free zone. I don't care who you are, what you've done. If you need something, I am willing to listen and more than grateful to help out.
Absolutely. A lot of guys say that, they didn't do anything. Why would they have a problem? I didn't deploy. I didn't do this. Well, Josh was an IT guy. Josh was a computer guy. Josh didn't carry a weapon. Josh didn't get blown up. Josh didn't deploy to Afghanistan or Iraq, but what he did do was leave his family for months at a time
Yep.
and come back and try to have to readjust. And any of us that have gone anywhere for any length of time know that that readjustment period can be difficult.
Oh yeah, definitely. And especially the younger generation. I didn't enlist until like I said, I was 24 when I enlisted. But you got these guys that are going straight out of high school from being basically, okay, here's what you do, schedule day to day. Here's everything you do, all the way through their entire life. At 18, they enlist and continue that same mentality to the point to where, okay, the day they get out, I had senior NCOs of mine messaging me saying, hey, I'm ETS. What do I do with my life now?
What do I do now?
Yeah, it's like, well, how people don't know how to adjust to being a civilian, because a lot of the military have never been a civilian.
It's different.
Yeah,
way different.
Yeah.
Now you might have a plan. You might be able to have a plan and get out and go and be this phenomenal success. But the majority of us, I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say 90 to 95% of us, our plan didn't work.
No.
And that's okay, because something else is out there. You just have to go find it and be willing to do the work to get it. So we're gonna make changes. We're already making an impact. Save 22. This will be Save 22 6th year for the hike.
Year.
Yep. We didn't get to do the 5th, so we're going to try to roll the 5th and 6th together and just be bigger than we've ever been before. So I look forward to coming down and talking with you. I've got your personal cell now.
Yeah.
So we're going to definitely keep in touch. And if you need anything, please reach out. I'll do what I can.
Definitely. I appreciate it. And likewise.
Listen, thanks for taking time we're recording this on a Sunday morning prior to the football rush, and it's playoff Sunday for those in Ohio that don't know, or for those not in Ohio that don't know. I am not a Browns fan, but the Cleveland Browns made the playoffs for the first time in 18 years. So Ohio's going a little crazy today. So listen, Josh, again, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And like Dave says, we'll get through this together, brother.
Yes, definitely. Yep.
All right, man. Take care of yourself.
Thanks. You too.
See ya.